I've always thought that going on vacation together strengthens family bonds. The warm sea, the beach, cozy evenings in a cafe. It's all about new experiences and a touch of romance for a couple. These were the emotions I expected from a vacation with my wife, but what I ended up feeling was a bit different. Riley and I were both focused on our careers. We worked a lot. She moved to the capital, and when we first met, she was living in a rented room with two other girls, doing her best to enjoy life in the capital while working as a waitress. After we got married, she moved in with me, and I helped her get a job as an office secretary, because I work as a manager in a bank and I had the right connections. Our busy schedules didn't often allow us to relax together. We had weekends at different times, and it was not easy to coordinate our vacations. Therefore, Riley often went on vacation alone, usually visiting her mother in another city. She returned from these trips rested and happy, and sometimes I even invite her a little. I wanted to spend a vacation together, come to her hometown, and experience it with her. After some problems with my job, I finally managed to coordinate our vacation schedules. How about we go and visit your mom? I've never been there, and you're always so happy when you come back from there, I suggested to Riley. No, I don't really want to go there. At least I want to go to Spain, she replied. We have already been to Spain, but I've never been with you in your homeland. I'd really like to relax there and see where you grew up, I objected. Oh, trust me, it's pretty boring there. Pick somewhere else, she said. I've already picked, and no more excuses. Let's visit your mom. I'll see where you grew up. And there's a sea too. It'll be a spiritual kind of vacation, in the open air, I insisted. You're not going to like this. Everything is familiar to me there. If you want, you can go to Italy or Japan, she tried to convince me again. I don't understand. You've always wanted to go back to your mom, but now you don't want me to go with you. What does it mean? I asked, genuinely surprised. Don't be naughty. I have a feeling that something is wrong. After some persuasion, I managed to convince her to go back to her hometown. Her mother was thrilled that we would both be visiting, and she welcomed us warmly. I ended up enjoying the city. There's a lively promenade, nice beaches, and we spent a lot of time walking around, soaking in the long-awaited break. But after a few days, her friends began calling her constantly. They'd found out she was in town and kept inviting her to meet up. She'd ask me to go off on my own for a couple of hours while she went out to see them. For some reason, she never invited me to join her when her friends called. The constant phone calls and the fact that she didn't want me around raised some questions in my mind. Why were they calling her so often? And why didn't she want me to meet them? Her response was to brush off my concerns, coming up with various reasons why we couldn't go together. Her behavior became more and more suspicious, so I decided to ask my mother-in-law if she knew anything about these meetings. My mother-in-law didn't have much to say, but she admitted that Riley always met up with someone when she came home. That's when I started insisting that we all meet her friends together, but as soon as I did, Riley stopped going out with them. We started spending more evenings together, but my wife seemed distracted, constantly checking her phone with a nervous energy that I couldn't ignore. One day, I made up my mind to check her phone when she went into the shower. I went through it, and that's when I found some unsent text messages. I couldn't read everything, since she clearly had deleted most of the conversation, but I managed to catch part of it. She was talking to a man, and from what I could see, he was asking why she hadn't made time to meet up with him. She replied that it was because of her husband, and he responded by saying he missed her and that she needed to figure out how to meet him again. From that brief exchange, I pieced everything together. I confronted Riley with what I had found, demanding an explanation. Yes, this is just a friend, a former classmate, she said, her voice tense. I don't buy that. The messages don't look like a friendship to me. This seems more like an affair, I said, frustrated. Don't make up stories. I knew this wasn't going to work out with us coming here together, she replied dismissively. Don't insult my intelligence. I get it now. Your mother even confirmed that you're always rushing off to meet someone, which means it's a regular thing. You'd better tell me what's really going on, I pressed, trying to get the truth out of her. Eventually, she admitted to having an affair. Every time she went home, she'd meet her lover. She explained that he showered her with attention, and she couldn't resist. She was too caught up in the excitement and didn't have the strength to end things with him. I couldn't bring myself to forgive Riley. I told her to move out of the apartment, and we filed for divorce. Her salary was not enough to afford her own housing, so she eventually returned to her mother, despite her dream of living in the capital. She hoped to establish a relationship with her lover, but he refused her, saying that he was not interested in anything serious. As for me, I completely cut her out of my life. As a result, what was supposed to be a pleasant vacation turned into a nightmare.